Changing the way you think about your body is a key to overcoming the stress of living with any chronic illness. So, in this session, I share with you four simple steps that you can take today to deal with the stress of living with an autoimmune condition or any other such severe chronic illness. This is something that I have seen work time and time again in my own life, family experience, with my clients. And if you like what I have to say, make sure that you sign up or join our free Facebook community. It's called Healing from Within with Anindita Community, and I'll be sharing the link with you below. So the first thing that I want you to change when you look at how you are, uh, dealing with the stress in your life today. This is particularly true for anybody who's dealing with any kind of autoimmune condition or some other such chronic illness. But it is also true even if you don't have any such condition, right? We all have different kinds of stressors. So maybe you still, you can still implement some of these things today. So the first thing that, the first change that you can make starting today is by thinking of your body in terms of today's body, right? What we sometimes don't really pay attention to or realize is that our bodies, and we are ever changing. And this is especially true, and I'm sure you would have noticed this if you are living with any kind of pre-existing autoimmune condition, right? Every day is not the same, and every single day your body feels different. Some days there are more aches and pains, some days there are less. Some days that your joints are achy, some other days maybe you're feeling much better. Some days you have less energy levels, some days you have more energy levels, and that can also fluctuate during the day, right? So it's an ever changing thing. So, and we, a lot of times we try start fighting it, and it because we're trying to live our lives, we're trying to do the best that we can. But often what can help is to simply look at your body in terms of today's body, and acknowledging the what your body feels like, what it feels like to be in your body today. So this is something that I came across, this is something I teach to my clients, and it's really helpful. So if you can give up identifying with your body in terms of I, me, or mine, even for a short while. So it's like you're creating a space between yourself and your physical body. That really helps. It gives you the space to respond a bit differently. So once you stop identifying with your body as I, me, or mine for a short period of time, it can be empowering. So what happens then as a result of this space is that you are not making your body your fault. So that means you don't have to fix the problem, right? And it gives you a kind of a breathing space. And instead of trying to fix it or trying to fight it, it makes it more impersonal. And this today's body helps you to sort of treat it maybe with some level of kindness, and be a bit more gentle. And I'm going to expand on this a bit later, but this is where I want to start. So it's the thinking that needs to change, it's the approach that you can change starting today. So again, tomorrow you might feel differently. That's why today's body is so helpful. But starting today, and today, whatever your body feels like at this moment, if you can sort of come to terms with it, if you can separate yourself even for a short moment, it helps you to look at your body with a bit more maybe tenderness and forgiveness, no matter what you're going through today. So that's where I want you to start. That's the first step, right? Just changing the way you are thinking about this whole scenario, thinking about your body. And how do you do that? So, of course, changing the way you are thinking about what you feel in your body today. But how the way that you can go about it is to start treating your body as a friend. This is kind of the next, I mean, this is like building on that. And I touched upon this, so when I do these activities, the way that I sort of help my clients through this, because we are not taught this in schools, we are not taught this in colleges. We don't really hear much about it, and I hadn't heard about this concept till several years ago, when I had to sort of embody it to help my daughter's health issues, right? That's how I came across it. Then I just sort of figured out that, okay, this is something that really makes a difference by making our bodies our friend, by reconnecting with our body in some form. So how do you do that? The way that you do this is to imagine a friend who is undergoing going through some challenges. Maybe it's a similar situation that you are in, or maybe it's something completely different, but some challenge that the friend is going through, and is struggling, or maybe even is in pain. And when you think of that friend, right, how would you support that friend? How would you treat that friend? How would what kind of words would you use to lift that friend up, right? To support that friend, to encourage, and what tone or voice would you use? Right, so that's the key here. So just imagining a friend who's in need, who's in pain, who's struggling, who's trying to overcome some challenges. How would you support that friend? How would you care for that friend? And then turning it around and seeing if you can do that for yourself, even if it for short periods of time. So, because it's sometimes easier for us to visualize helping a friend than it is to visualize helping ourselves, or taking care of ourselves, or showing some tenderness and forgiveness. So that's the reason I use this exercise, and it's quite effective. And in fact, this is something that I touched upon with one of my clients who was quite disconnected with her body from childhood. She had a stressful childhood. Again, as I mentioned, nobody's really taught about these things. And we are honestly very well connected with our bodies when we are very young. But as we grow older, with the kind of society that we live in, the kind of pace that we live in, and of course we are never taught about these things, or these things are not talked about, we don't really know how we feel in our bodies anymore, right? And that's something that I sort of we worked on. So Anne, as she worked towards reconnecting with her own body, physical body, she was able to give herself, her body, what it needed, and that made all the difference in healing from her autoimmune condition, in dealing with her symptoms and improving her symptoms, right? And when I say healing, I don't mean removal of all symptoms and no issues and completely fine. What I mean is that there are so many health improvements that can happen. The stress can really come down, energy levels can go up, right? That itself, healing is mind, body, and spirit. It's not only physical healing that I'm talking about, and it really helps. So this is something that can be so effective. But how do you go about doing this? How do you actually go about befriending your body? How do you go about overcoming the stress of living with any chronic illness, or maybe you're just trying to deal with your regular stress levels? So what steps can you take? So I in this session I am sharing with you just 4 simple steps that you can take today to help you to sort of get going. So the first step that and these are steps that I find are really effective. They have helped many of my clients. They have helped me in my own life to deal with whatever stress that comes along. And again, you can make it your own. So the first thing is to do a self journaling exercise, right? It can be in many different forms, but I'm going to share you one specific type that is really helpful. So the self journaling exercise is that it's usually people prefer to do it first thing in the morning, but you can pretty much do it any time of the day. First thing in the morning is when we are fresh, we are not bogged down by any of the things that we need to do. It's a good start. It gives us a good start to the day. It sets a good tone for the rest of the day. That's why we when we do journaling, we say that first thing in the morning. You can also of course do it last thing at night before bed. But one of the most effective exercises I have found is writing a thank you note for your body, right? So just it can be as long or as brief that you want it to be. And even if you need to do it for a week, for 10 days, that's completely up to you. But it's just one of the ways that I found that self reflection is really helpful, or journaling is really helpful. So just writing a thank you note to your body, expressing your gratitude and appreciation for all that it does for you. So whether it's in terms of taking you from place to place, whether it's in terms of helping you hug your loved ones, whether it's in terms of helping you to enjoy, to listen to the sounds of your family, your friends, the sounds of laughter, of music, helping you to do things, create things with your hands, hug your family. There's so many things that we can thank our bodies for, right? Even when there's so many things that are going wrong. So that's a brilliant place to start. The other thing is to practice treating your body well for one day. Again, you can make it as simple as you want it to be. Again, if you can imagine, in this earlier scenario that I asked you to imagine your friend who's going through some challenges. So if you can figure out what are the things that would have helped that person, right? So maybe would it be helpful to sleep on time for that particular day? Would it be helpful to maybe take um, a leisurely bath? Would it be helpful to have to really savor a meal, cook a healthy meal and then really enjoy it? These small things really matter. Would it be helpful to take maybe more mini breaks in the day, or maybe just wind down with a good book? So just practicing treating your body well for one day can look very different for different people, but finding your own way of doing it is very important, whatever that appeals to you. So maybe just starting with one day, and of course you can sort of continue with it if you feel the need to. The other thing is, the third thing I would say is to make a short list of how you can support your body. And, so just different variations of these. These are all steps that will help you to address the stress in many different ways, because the answers that you will get from taking these four steps is what will give you the sense. So it's not only about meditation, it's not only about self care, etc. It's about what your unique body needs. And that's why I'm talking about these kind of steps, which is quite different from the usual stress management techniques. So, coming back to step number 3. So, the first step I mentioned is do a self journaling exercise and maybe writing a thank you note to your body. The second one was practice treating your body well for one day, whatever that means for you. And the third one that I'm talking about right now is making a short list of how you can support your body, right? So again, writing down sometimes is helpful so that you can refer to it when you need to, when you're going through a bad day. So maybe writing down, for me, I mean, if I give you my example, for me it would be sleeping maybe half an hour earlier than I would. That means that for me bedtime is usually around 10:30, maybe sleeping by 9:30. For me it would be making sure that I'm switching off all my gadgets at least an hour before bedtime, and maybe winding down with a cup of green tea, which I usually do, and a good book. It can mean that go outdoor. Make sure that I go outdoor and spend some time in nature. It can mean different things. So, what are the things that will support your body? So, make a short list, maybe 4 to 5, and then you can always refer back to it as and when you need to. And last but not the least, embrace your body with self compassion. And what is self compassion? Self compassion is showing kindness when a person is suffering. That's what compassion is. That's how it differs from kindness. And self compassion is showing that compassion towards yourself. So if you have been following what I have been saying in this session, if you have understood how you can sort of treat your body as a friend, how you can start thinking in terms of today's body, then you would be able to sort of start treating your body with self compassion. It's a powerful antidote to body dissatisfaction, feeling that your body is betraying you. This is typically happens when one is going through a very, very bad flare up in an autoimmune condition. It's very hard because you feel that your body is betraying you. It's not in your control anymore. It is extremely disempowering, right? So to get back that kind of power, just practicing a brief, having a brief practice of self-compassion can help us accept our bodies, with more love and appreciation. You can start appreciating what your body is going through, and then that's how you start supporting it, right? And because that's how you know how to support it. Because this is, I often find, is the missing link. Now, while we are given so many tools and insights and resources about all the things that we can possibly do to say help us with our autoimmune conditions, to improve our symptoms, to increase energy levels, I think this is the missing link. We are often not tuned into our bodies, and that's the reason we don't have the insights that we need to know exactly what our body requires, right? What kind of foods, what kind of self-care activities, whether it needs more breaks during the day. And the more you get tuned into your body, the more you start trusting your intuition, and the better you become at doing all of this, right? It's true for me, it's been true for my clients. So while I may not have had any particular autoimmune illness, I have been through this journey with my daughter's health issues. I have seen when I coach my clients who have autoimmune conditions, that when once they start treating their body as a friend, once they start accepting their bodies with more and show more gratitude and appreciation, finally they are able to, you know, sort of cut through the clutter, the noise, and understand exactly what they need to do. And this is what makes it sustainable, right? Otherwise, it's so hard, really hard to make changes and sustain those changes, because you don't really know what's going to work, what's not going to work, and why you're doing it. But when you're so connected with yourself, with your body, and this also helps to sort of become more mindful as a whole. It's actually more easier in many ways to connect with your body, because it's in the present moment while your mind is wandering all over the place. So that's why a lot of times people start with body scans, right? But again, so coming back to the 4 steps, I hope it's given you some insight as to how you can approach this differently, how you can manage your stress levels in a different way, which is more sustainable in the long run, which is more intuitive, which is more insightful, thanks to your body's wisdom. So the first thing I mentioned is, of course, rethinking, approaching this whole situation in terms of today's body. The second thing that I mentioned was treating your body as a friend, right? The same way that you would help somebody who's in trouble or who's going through some health challenges, maybe, or any other challenge for that matter. And then the 4 steps that you can take today. So the first step is doing self-journaling exercise, maybe starting with a thank you note. It can be any kind of exercise. Just putting your thoughts down on paper is really beneficial. The second can be practice treating your body for one day, because when you start with one day, then you can build on that, right? Then you take another day, then you take another day. That's how you build your practice, which is again a sustainable. Third is make a short list of how you can support your body. Having those 3 to 5 things that is that works for you is really helpful, especially when you're going through a very bad patch, so you don't have to think about or reinvent the wheel. And fourth is embracing your body with self-compassion. I sort of shared with you why this is important, and you can actually make an appreciation list for your body. You can actually list down the things that you appreciate about your body and how it's helping you. So, just some last thoughts about this. To sort of tie it all up, what you can do today is maybe just do one thing that cultivates a friendship with your body for the next 7 days. Right, starting today, what is the one thing that you can do today? Right, if and I'll give you some examples. Maybe the one thing that you can do today is to go to bed on time, or maybe even earlier, right? So that's maybe one thing that you do today. Then tomorrow, it may mean that the one thing that you do tomorrow is that you are making fresh, I mean, homemade meals, and you're enjoying them, taking out the time to savor your meals rather than rushing through them. Maybe the third day, you can, the one thing that you do is uh, have more breaks in your day if you need to, like maybe just schedule, and it only works when you schedule it. So maybe just scheduling 10 minutes 3 times a day, 5 times a day, right? And making sure that you're just taking a break, pausing, maybe doing some breath work, maybe going out in nature, completely up to you. Maybe read a book, which is what I do. And maybe the fourth day, the one thing that you do on that day is to take uh, a walk in nature, right? Just to maybe get up in the morning and just take, even if it's as short as 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just getting that sunlight on your body, on your face, breathing in the sounds of nature, the air, right? Just that one thing. So when you make it simple and easy for yourself, focus on one thing, then it usually gets done. And at the end of 7 days, see how you feel inside your body, right? How does it really feel to be connected with your body? And it's as less time as 7 days, you will see a huge difference, right? And this happens time and time again. And we typically have some of these challenges inside our Facebook group, which is Healing Autoimmune with Anindita, from within with Anindita. So I would invite you to join my Facebook group, where we have these kind of challenges, where I talk about these resources, these insights into dealing with any kind of chronic illness, particularly autoimmune conditions, where you can sort of connect with other like-minded women And I also do have Mindful Mondays where I take you through some of these activities live. So just come on over. I would love to see you inside the group. I will be posting it in this below.